Hello, all. Welcome to weekly trade recap number 3. This week has been a total gamble. From ever since the first trade, I completely lost my psychology right after that, and everything else from there was downhill. The only two trades I took according to my plan were the first trade in gold and the first trade in Euro USD. Apart from all of that, everything else was a gamble. Everything else was to compensate for those mismanagement that happened within the first two trades, and from there on everything else was completely downhill and it was a total disaster. But regardless of whatever mess ups or fuck ups I did in the last week, I'm still down only 4%, which is I started off at $62,000 or something, and right now I am at 59,750, which is not so bad for the number of trades and the logic of the trades I took. Because if I took these same trades 2 years back, I would have probably blown these accounts by now because I would have doubled down on my risk as I went on. But one thing I kept straight throughout this entire week was that I didn't fuck up my risk management. It was whatever it was, as I've mentioned in the week one, which is 0.75. In this week, it has oscillated from 0.5 to 1%, but nothing more than that. Yet the risk never went beyond $600. And that is the only thing that kept me afloat. Everything else was total nut buster. It didn't help at all. It was pretty bad, and hopefully the upcoming weeks is going to be better. Still, I'm not at a very bad place. Even if I lose bunch of money from this point, it's not going to be too bad because I'll be able to recover them quicker. And yeah, all it requires is couple of 1:3 or 1:2 that will again put me back into break even and even more. I've also put some. I'll also be putting some Indian market recaps of the nifty trades I took. Now, Indian market has been going well irrespective of forex, and from whatever I'm thinking, I think since Indian markets are going well, I'm messing up in forex a lot, because since I'm thinking Indian markets is real money and forex market is basically the prop firm evaluation test. I'm just thinking in a way that it's not real money, so I can play around with it, experiment, and all of that. But that is going to stop from this week, and hopefully, I am also restructuring a lot of things that is in forex. I have been so. Let's head to the things I've done right and the things I've done wrong. Things I've done right is the risk management. I didn't mess up my risk management. It has been solid throughout all the trades. And every time I enter a trade, my stop loss and the risk management is always placed, even if it is a BS trade, even if that trade has no backing of logic whatsoever. Whenever I enter it, I have a stop loss and a TP in place, and that has helped me to stay within a risk. The things I've done wrong is that obviously the having feeble psychology during the start of the week is it's very exciting, and what happened is that I put too much hope on a couple of trades that I analyzed during the weekend, and when those trades failed, those trades actually it didn't fail. Even if I had failed, I wouldn't have lost my psychology. I exited trade early, and that has put me in a bad place of a psychology in which I went to revenge mode and tried to trade more and gain back that, and it was complete downhill from that. So I've learned from that, and the thing I've done right have outweighed the things I've done wrong. So I'm still afloat. I still have the account. So all is good. And right now, let's head to the video and see it for yourself. Let's head to the trades right now. Since I was away for the past couple of weeks, I don't have the complete track of all the trades I took. I'll be posting the MT5 snapshots at the end of the video, and you can refer that and like backtrack and see what are the trades I took. But there are only few trades that I remember, and most of the trades I did mark out in the other instruments. But since I was analyzing on the way, I removed the drawings and I wasn't aware of that. And right now, when I go back to that, I wasn't able to find them. So let's make do with whatever I have, and hopefully from next week I'll be able to post consistently because I was a little busy with my life for the past couple of weeks, and as of now all of that is over, and I'll be consistent, probably consistent from the next week. Coming to gold, the first trade I took was right here. What happened is that, so the Friday closing was pretty attractive. What happened during Friday? This range was very well respected, and I saw bullish engulfing from this point. This gave me confirmation that I can enter in a retrace in the upcoming week, and this was one of the very strong trade setups that I had in my mind. The next day's opening was as expected. It did go a little bit higher, came back. I entered right here in this retracement of this particular range. This was well respected. It did respect, and what it did is that, and also one more thing, the most ideal entry would have been this, not the range. I did notice this, but I was like, you know what, I don't want to miss out the trade, so I took an early entry. But this would have been the most ideal entry. In this way, I would have definitely hit my TP because I don't target more than 1:3. But however, once I entered here, what went on is that the price kept going up. It did go very well for a while, and it sharply reversed, which kind of made me concerned, and I did exit at break even by the panic. But right after it took my stop loss, it reversed from that point and took my take profit. This kind of ruined my psychology completely because the very first trade of the week, high conviction trade, closed because of panic and finally eventually went to take profit. Didn't even retrace back a little bit towards my stop loss. This was like, you know what, I have to recreate this. I want to take back that. And that's where everything started going downhill. All these circles that you'll be seeing as the BS trades which I took, there is no logic, there is nothing to them. I don't even know like how to explain those trades. That's why I just marked a circle over there. I don't even know if it's long or short. Those were just some random trades. But throughout all these bullshit, I did keep one thing straight, which is my risk management. I didn't risk more, I didn't risk less. I risked my usual size, which is from 0.5 to 1%. And I was taking stop losses left and right for the past week. As you can see, my second trade was that, took stop loss. Third trade was somewhere here, took stop loss again. Fourth trade was somewhere here. This was a fair value gap in the 4 hour. I saw this double top happening, and when it came back, there were these three liquidity points. My expectation was that it's gonna take out this liquidity and dump more. What I didn't notice is that there was a strong engulfing candle here. Whenever an engulfing happens and there's a liquidity right above that, the trade is going to probably, the price is going to take that liquidity most probably. The probability of that happening is much higher, and that's what exactly happened. This trade took my stop loss in 5 minutes or so, and the price kept going, and from this range it gave a strong rejection. I did take another trade, I think it was a long, and it took a stop loss. No logic. The one trade that gave something in gold was this, and this was the trade where I actually de-risked, and it gave me some 2.85 RR. Not bad, to be honest. This was 0.7 level, which I like to trade. There was a order block right there. Price did a market structure shift, came back, took my order block, and again reversed. All I traded till was this liquidity. I didn't want anything more because I was totally drained from this day. Took a lot of bunch of stop losses. I didn't want to trade anymore. So I was like, you know what, I'll just settle for this. And that's exactly what I did. Got a 2.8 something, 2.86. Didn't trade anymore in gold. The rest of the trades were in EU and US indices. I don't remember the trade in EU, to be honest. Let me see. I think it was somewhere here. Yeah, I think it was somewhere here. I was actually planning a long, and I did go long, but I take my stop loss, and from there again it reversed, I guess. I don't remember that. S&P 500 is something new I'm trading. This is the very first trade I took in S&P 500. The logic was that there were a bunch of liquidities towards the downside. I usually go long whenever this happens. What I thought was that since these liquidities are taken out and there's an order block here which got completely liquidated and it created a bearish candle, engulfing candle, and my logic was that, you know what, I'm going to take a small chunk of profits from this reversal point. And that's exactly I tried, but obviously it failed. But I was trailing my stop aggressively, and I was taken out at break even. I took a couple of more trades in S&P, but I don't remember them. I'll be posting all the snapshots of MT5 towards the end, so you guys can backtrack and check. And that is it for the week. It was a total mess up. Took bunch of trades. I explained how my psychology got ruined, like what was the tipping point. This was that trade that happened, which kind of shook me, and yeah, rest of it self-explained. Bunch of bullshit trades. Was in very good profits the week before. I was at up 4%. Now I'm down. I'm marginally down 0.5%. And yeah, no, nothing more. The mistake I did was went out of my system, started taking random trades. There's nothing else to be explained here. And hopefully, the next bunch of weeks are going to put me in break even and above. Indian markets have been going fire, and that's the reason I messed up forex, because I've been so disciplined with Indian markets. Forex, I think, you know what, it's not my, I mean, it's basically not my money. It's just prop firm's money, right? So I can just trade and play around with that. And that's exactly what I did. Hopefully, I won't be doing that anymore. I want to clear the evaluation as soon as possible and head to phase two. And in the route I'm going, it doesn't seem straight. The swings are pretty huge within my account, and that should stop as of now. So let's see how the next couple of weeks goes. Just since I've mentioned Indian markets, to give a small glimpse on what is happening. Took Last week was pretty good. Took couple of 1:2s. Where is that? Yeah. This was the first trade. Overall trend has been bullish. So this was the first one. This was the second one. All same logic. Liquidity sweep, retracement, and a 1:2. Yeah, nothing. Is this something I took today? And what Bank Nifty, I just took one trade. This one. Same logic. There were equal lows at the bottom. So my assumption was that it's going to come down, take these lows out. That's exactly what it did. Yeah, the market went up and that gave a retracement. This was a liquidity in 1 minute. You won't be able to see it in 3 minutes, but this was a liquidity in 1 minute. It took out, created a fair value gap, came back into the retracement, and that's what I traded. 1:2.42. Risk was the same for all except for this one, since it was a trade after 3 p.m. I guess. Yeah. So I didn't want to risk much. I just want to play it safe. So I cut my risk in half. Rest all trades were of full risk. And that is it. Nothing else for the week. So thank you for watching.